Exciting.
How's your day been?
Good. Good. I've been very productive. So yeah,
That's good. I've been watching my baby birds outside. The ones I sent you.
they're the cutest.
Do you hear? I hear a little bit of an echo. Do you hear it? Or no?
No, no. I don't hear anything.
Mm,
Did you dye your hair? It looks lighter.
no. Does it? That's so
Yeah,
funny. It
maybe
could be.
you're wearing black.
Yeah, it could be that, and then it's like summertime, so the summer, like the light could be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it could be lightening it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The sun. Okay, so today, do you hear an echo? I hear an echo.
No. I don't hear
You don't
anything.
hear anything?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so today we're talking about confidence. We're going to go into it deeper. We're going to talk about confidence embodied. And we're going to talk about like boundaries, standards, moving from self-doubt into self-love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So do you want to start us off?
Yeah, of
What
course.
are some like boundaries and I guess you can say like where do you feel you have like your confidence is built from?
Yeah. So let's give, I think, the audience a little bit of perspective in case they don't know what we're talking about. And that was because we started this series on confidence that we're probably going to leave the link to that video underneath this video. But last week we talked about what confidence is and what self-worth means. And today it's all about embodying this and how self-worth is the foundation for everything. So it if self-worth is a foundation for everything, what you allow in love will reflect that. How far you will go in your goals. If you're not getting results, it's because your self worth and confidence is low. How you treat your body, whether you speak up or you stay small, whether you're people pleasing or you're not. So I wanted to touch on like how we can build these energetic boundaries or boundaries in general, but not it is what you're no longer available for, but doing this inner work to actually ask ourselves what we're not available for. It's not like, for example, we have a discussion and I tell you, oh, I'm not available for you to call me every day. Like it's not like that. It's not telling the people outside of you what you're not no longer available for, but it is you not being available for it. So you simply not answering, or maybe saying, hey, I'm not available right now. Would you mind picking this up in another time? So boundaries within each area in our life that we're almost tired, like we sense some kind of disconnection or, this in between space where we need to have this boundary set up for ourselves. Otherwise, we're setting ourselves up for failure if we don't um, have this figured out.
Hmm. I just typed in the chat if anyone hears an echo, just to make sure that it doesn't sound echoey, because I don't know. But on my end, I hear an echo, so I just want to know if anyone else hears an echo. If you can just comment and just say if you hear an echo.
Let me check. I hear you perfect.
Interesting. I hope it's only me that hears it. I hope. Can anyone just type in the chat if they hear an echo? And if they don't, no, okay, that's good. Okay, so
Great.
yeah, back to what we were saying. Sorry, I was just concerned. Yeah, like with boundaries, I definitely hear what you're saying. Like it's not just like you're telling someone like don't do this or like don't like you're it's not like you're trying to make rules for other people. It's like you're trying to make rules for yourself so that
Exactly.
you don't feel like you disobeyed yourself and
Mm-hmm.
that you put yourself into a place where you're going to feel drained or like a leak in your energy. So when you make these boundaries, obviously people get offended, and there's like that quote that goes around, like the people that are most offended by your boundaries, the people that benefited from you having none. And that is so true. So
So true.
yeah, so if you implement boundaries and people are like upset or triggered, usually it's one of two reasons. They either were benefiting from you having none, or they don't
Mhm.
have any in their life and they feel kind of like offended that, oh my gosh, how are you able to stand up for yourself? Because I'm not able to stand up for myself. That's how I feel with like boundaries. It's like a lot of people get triggered just because they don't have boundaries themselves.
100%. I
Yeah.
completely resonate with you. Would love to ask the people that are watching, if you relate, if you have any boundaries, or do you feel like you um, are missing some boundaries in your life? Oh, really?
You can't hear anything? That's strange.
It's
Can you hear, like, how does it sound? Does anyone else have any problems hearing?
um
Interesting.
yeah, that's interesting.
I feel like YouTube Live is always a tricky issue. Last week we had like some technical difficulties. Okay,
Yeah.
some
uh,
people can hear, some people
right.
cannot. So I don't know. But we're just gonna keep going. But what do you guys feel like with like confidence? Like let us know how you feel about boundaries and if you agree that people get easily triggered by them. Um, One easy trick that I have for when people are like triggered by your boundaries is one thing, like the first things, don't like revoke your boundaries. Now don't say, okay, never mind. Like, let me go back to having none. Like, you can do whatever you want. Like,
Hmm.
that's number one. Don't do that. Continue with the boundaries. And then people learn from that and they pick up on that. And then they now get inspired to have their own boundaries and have their own standards for how people treat them.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe we can give an example. Maybe, in relationships, if you don't have boundaries in relationships, this depends whether you are in your too much in your feminine or too much in your masculine energy. But if you are in either one of those, there's no balance. So you tend to give in too easily, or you tend to be too rigid. So you
Yeah.
have to have, some kind of boundary in order for you to work better. At the end of the day, all we're saying is, if you have boundaries, you're going to show up better for the world, not just for the people around you, but for yourself.
Yeah.
So so this is so necessary, I think. But
Hmm.
and like, almost people don't teach us how to have these. I think this is a very um not talked about subject.
Hmm. It's one of
Hmm.
those topics that you have to have the worst experience to then realize, okay, I need to have some boundaries and some standards and like put some sets in like some walls in place so that you can like not like walls like as in like never let yourself be vulnerable, but putting some like emotional boundaries in places where you feel like you can not put yourself in a place where you can just feel drained or like just like it's almost like leading yourself to self-destruction sometimes, and you want to prevent the self-destruction when there's people that are ready to like use you and like just not be the most positive person around you and like just draining your energy super super easy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oof, I completely agree with you. And we're talking about, friendships, and also touching a little on relationships, but also boundaries with money.
Hmm.
Boundaries with goals. Like, yeah, how far are you gonna go if you don't set that goal up for yourself? If you don't have any boundaries around money, like, if you have a money setting and you want to achieve, I don't know, a certain amount of money monthly, and you waste your money as soon as you spend it. You get you get paid, and the first thing you do is you spend it.
Hmm.
Like, there is no match between what you're saying, your desires. So I think
Yeah.
also not only with the people, but also like in areas like money. And also think that money is not talked about enough in women. Women do not talk about enough finances and how to put ourselves up for success.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
definitely hear what you're saying. Like money is a super big one. Like I was just gonna say, like it's boundaries, it's outside of just relationships. It's boundaries with ourselves. We can go into that topic. And then with money, like you were saying, it's so important to have like an idea in your head of why you want where you want the money to be used. Like when people
Hmm.
just say like I want to like attract money into my life, like what do you want to use it for? And how much do you want? And
Yes.
by when? And
Yes.
then like once you have these like more concrete ideas in your head, then you're able to actually like attract that into your life because it's just like walking down the street and if you don't have an idea of what car you want, you're not going to have like you're not going to see the dealerships that you want. Like if you say like okay, I want this
Yeah.
specific car like dealership A. Okay, now you're going to see dealership A's on this street and you're going to see them
Hmm.
more and you're going to see like oh, this person drives this car A and then like you're coming in contact with them more and then you're bringing that energy towards you. And that's how the law of attraction works and manifestation.
Yes. Yes. 100%. It's great. I mean, I was gonna say it's crazy, but it's not really crazy. It's just our self concept, our confidence, our self worth is so, we got it so confused.
Mhm.
And it's almost pulling us by our legs because we don't notice that we need to work on confidence, that that's the foundation for everything. We don't
Yeah.
notice that our past experiences are dragging us down until we turn around and actually face our fears, face what we're going through, face the uncomfortable emotions that we're feeling, but we don't want to feel them.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go back to the subject because I'm talking, getting out of the subject. So, yeah.
Like with relationships?
No, 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 in every area.
Oh, every area, yeah. One thing that confidence embodied is you actually sticking to the things that you said you're gonna stick to. So like with, for example, boundaries and having standards. If you don't stick to those, your confidence is gonna be so easily lost because what are
Mhm,
you confident about? What did you do that you're now like, okay, I did that. Like I have
mhm,
that in my like tool, like I did that. It's in my belt. You know, the more things that you have that you said, like, okay, I'm gonna do this every single day. I'm gonna wake up at 7 a.m. You did it every single
mhm,
day. You woke up at 7 a.m. Now you know, like, okay, what maybe that no didn't work for you and you don't want to do it like ongoing, but at least you did it and you know you can. And now you have the more confidence because you were able to say you were gonna do something and actually do it. That's
mhm.
gonna build the confidence. So confidence comes with like you fulfilling the actions you say you're gonna do. Like when you do what you say you're gonna do, that is where the confidence comes in, and that's where I found I have developed the most confidence is when like I see like I have some goals and when I actually achieve the goals and when I
Is
actually like shift my mindset into the mindset I want to be in, that's where the confidence comes. Not where I'm like I'll feel the least confident is when I tell myself I'm going to do this and then if I don't do it at all, then I'm
it
like my confidence is kind it feels kind of the most shaky.
mhm.
What about you? Do you kind of like agree with that?
100%. And I go into, self-doubt. Like I started doubting if something's not working. Like then like it goes into bad thought and then worse and then worse then worse. So,
Mhm.
for example,
It's a
um,
spiral, downward spiral.
yes, that's what I was. That's the phrase that I was looking for. So I start, I don't know, building something, right? For example, I mean, it never happened in my swimwear business, but let's put that example in. So I had this swimwear business, right? And
Yeah.
um, I didn't have. I had just graduated from fashion design in New York City, and I needed an investor. So I was like, what do I do? I had this vision that I was going to make a brand and make women feel amazing because I thought that confidence came from this external thing.
Mhm.
And my entire brand thing was on having all women were beautiful and in all shapes, sizes, and colors. So I told my idea to this family friend, and he was like, "What do you need?" I didn't doubt what my vision. So the next thing I told him, I didn't know how much I needed. I asked my dad, and I was like, "Hey, Dad, how much? What do I tell him? Like, how much money do I need?" Just tell him that you need $10,000. So the next time I saw him, I didn't even see him after that. Like, he wired me the money, and then we had to meet again to do a contract, and then um, do the business plan.
Yeah.
So there was no point in that story where I doubted what I wanted. I didn't know how it was gonna come, how it was gonna happen. However, like that precision, that preciseness that I had, that security that I had, not people don't often have it.
Yeah.
So they go into this down spiral, and they doubt themselves, and they don't believe that they're worthy, and they don't think that this spiral is actually pulling them down to not getting the thing.
Mhm.
So yeah, doubting is the worst thing that you can do, because you're frustrated, and then you're lowering your frequency, and that's not something that you want to attract. However, that is what you're attracting. That's what you're manifesting: lack, frustration, this experiences.
That's literally like self-doubt right there, and this example is like perfect. Because if you like what you did was so good. Like that's like I'm so proud of you for that. Because like if you were in self-doubt and you were like trying to make it perfect, like this is where perfectionism is paralyzation. Because if you stop yourself from acting and then you're just like, okay, I'm gonna make sure that everything's perfect. I don't mess up. I have like everything like the
I
business
didn't
proposal has
know.
to be like so, yeah, so
Yeah,
perfect. Like you're scared to do like you're scared to ask, you're scared to like put anything out that's not gonna be perfect, or like if there's a flaw or if you say the wrong number. That's where like there's so much inaction because it's so much like waiting.
exactly.
But the more you just
Yeah.
do it the first time and then you learn from that. And then it usually goes well because you end up like if there's a mistake that you made, it's corrected, you learn from it. Like
Yeah,
if you never made the mistake, you would never learn.
exactly.
It's all
The-
like the self-doubt is so like paralyzing. And
yeah,
like even like our coach that we have, like Nina always talks about, is like just do it scared. That is so
yeah,
important. Like just do it
yeah,
scared. Because the more you do it scared, the more confident, like that's literally confidence. People think confidence is the outside. It is like it that cannot be like anything further from the truth.
yeah.
Confidence is so internal that it's like that's all it is internal. It's
Mm.
genuinely like like a the mentality is everything on the inside. Like it's how like strong are you is your confidence on the inside. Everything comes from the inside. Like the fact that you're able to do it scared, the fact that you're able to
Mhm.
do it and it's not gonna be perfect, you're gonna make a mistake. Like that is the confidence. The confidence comes like after you just take the action and then you like you see like, oh my gosh, look what I did. Like I remember when I was like so scared to ride a roller coaster like last summer, my
Okay.
friends like forced me onto the roller coaster and then like right after the roller coaster, I was like, I
That
can do
was fun.
anything. Like, it was, like,
Yeah,
this, like, adrenaline rush of, like, I can do anything.
yeah. This power, no? Like it
Yeah.
makes you feel so powerful overcoming a fear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I
Wow.
was on that roller coaster, like, so scared, like, almost in tears, like, so, so scared. So it
That's
definitely
so
is
cool that
yeah.
you actually did it and went for it. That's so
Mhm.
important.
Yeah.
Hmm. Um, so I actually have like a completely different story or example that I can share, that I'd love to share. And is this story where, so I've never in my life I felt the way that I felt this past 2 years.
Mhm.
This past 2 years have been, I told you a little bit about my story in the last video, but I'm gonna share a little bit here. And the 5 years ago, I started doing coaching. I started doing you know, relate. I got into huge courses from psychologists and psychiatrists. They taught like how you can get your perfect man, how love works, and how we've assumed people should get into a relationship. Anyway, this past 5 years have been the most roller coaster of my life in regards confidence and self-worth and security. Everything that we're talking about, everything that I just told you, that I was so assertive, so certain about what I was supposed to do. So I've come to a conclusion from my past experiences that it doesn't have to do everything with, like, yes, you have to do, but just as well, you have to trust. Like, you have to find some time for you to rest.
Yeah.
It almost contradictory to what I was saying, because yes, you have to show up, you have to do the thing, you have to. But my personal experience has been that my entire life that I've been taught to do, never
Mhm.
rest. Um, I would even say that I was a little bit too masculine 5 years prior to this. I've met kind of myself in the middle, where I actually had the opportunity to listen to my intuition. That's one power of us women,
Yeah.
not being able to listen to it because we're too over masculinized.
Mhm.
That how you say it? So yeah, I've come to a conclusion. Yes, do, but also rest. Listen to your body. Listen to your intuition, because yes, sometimes something isn't working, but it's because you're like pushing yourself to do that thing out of fear.
Mhm. Fear of
It
losing it.
it's fear of losing it. Yes,
Yeah.
it's very contradictory what
Yeah.
we're saying, but I don't know.
Mhm.
I felt called to share my experience right now, what I've been going through these past 5 years. But um, you name it, whatever I was afraid, I would show up and do that thing. I needed to show up in public, speak in front of an auditorium. Haven't done that, but I've done that in front of a bunch of people in online. It's not the same thing. However, I did it, and you name it, I put myself out there. But
Yeah.
it is also knowing that your power is held in softness and rest, but
Yeah.
and intuition.
Yeah. I definitely see that and agree with that, because it, like what you said, like it contradicts what we were just saying with everything, like do, and that's where your confidence comes. But not doing something or not saying something is also a reaction, is like, or it's still a response, or it's still like an action. So if
Mhm.
you take a day of rest, that's still you doing something, like, and that's you trusting that you made the right decision. Made the right decision. Some people are so scared to take a day of rest, so the fact that you're able to
Bro,
trust
that was
yourself.
me.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
my god. Oh my god, I couldn't. Like, I
Hmm.
would be like on my period, and I couldn't take a day off. Like, I
Yeah,
was
you're
like,
like,
oh my,
wait, I told myself I was gonna do a workout.
yeah. No, there was
Yeah.
no way that I could rest when my body was begging for me
Hmm.
to rest. Just one day, one day is normal.
Yeah.
And over the weekend, oh my god, I was so wired because I've been conditioned to view my worth as a result. Like, if I believe that I'm worthy just if I show results.
Yeah.
That's
Hmm.
my conditioning. Not a lot of people have that conditioning.
I feel like it's common. I feel like a lot of
Oh yeah.
people do have that conditioning sometimes. Like I'll see that, like where it's like people will be like doing the most successful things, and then they still don't feel like they're the best, and they don't feel that proud of themselves.
Yeah.
So just because there's like this constant need to like do more and do more and do more. And then it's also like relevant to who you're around. So if you feel like, oh my gosh, like, okay, I made this much, like say you made $1 million, okay? But
Hmm.
then like the people you're around made $10 million, you're gonna feel like, oh my gosh, like I was not doing enough.
Hmm.
So like accomplishment sometimes can be like relevant. Like it's
To
based
where
on like
you are.
who your proximity, like
Around.
who you're around. And then like some people can feel like they did so much because they're just making like more than everyone else that in their circle. And then like they're basing it around just their circle. But then as soon as they like step out of this and go into like being the smallest fish in like this huge thing,
Hmm.
then it's different, just a different feeling. And that's where like your confidence is tested. Because are you gonna feel intimidated? And are you gonna feel like, oh my gosh, I need to go hide, or I'm not good enough? Or are you
Yeah.
gonna feel excited and curious
Hmm.
and like want to know how did they get so much more than me? And like it's like so there's something I told my client one time is like instead of being like bitter and jealous, just try to figure out how they got there and like be
Hmm.
curious and like try to be better yourself.
Yes.
It's just about like curiosity. Like don't feel like, oh my gosh, like everyone is better than me. Like think just like, oh, this is so like the opportunity I have. Like I'm surrounded by someone that is doing better than me. Like if you're seeing something in your like proximity or anywhere, like even like if you're friends or like on social media, like you're seeing someone else like just things that you want, then that means it's
Hmm.
close. Like it's in close proximity for you. Like it's if it's happening for other people, it's possible for you. So
Yes.
there's you should never feel like a sense of like jealousy or envy because this is literally just an example of that it's possible for you.
Exactly. I love that. I love how you said that. I agree. I agree with it 100%.
Mhm.
Because we're often comparing ourselves. That's a very human thing.
Yeah.
Oh, she has that, she has this, and especially now with the social media, it's almost, I don't want to say impossible, but it's rare to not compare or maybe not desire. But we can take a we can look at it as if, just like you said, if you're seeing it and this person is having it, this may be a way for you to also get it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And literally like you said social media and comparing, I feel the exact same way. Like as soon as you scroll on social media, like you're constantly comparing, but then it's like this slew of negativity where you're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so lucky." But then it's like this slew of like positivity when you're just like, "Wait, why don't I have that?" But
Mm-hmm.
like it's like you're constantly we're at a weird stage where like this our brains cannot handle this much stuff. Like it's constantly like
Mm-hmm.
so much like traumatizing negativity and then it's just like so much like crazy things of like the super super like all the possibilities in the world and then like all the like the horrible things are going on. So like you'll just be like this is the only time in history where you're scrolling and you're like sad video, happy video, crazy video. Like it's just like our emotions, it's like almost scary to see like is this numbing our emotions? That's completely out of topic, but I just thought because you brought up the social media and comparing, so I just thought like it's just interesting. It's an interesting point.
Yeah, of course. And sometimes we say, "Oh, it's stress," probably because you have so much stress in your life. But people don't realize that stress is also just having a nervous system that's not regulated.
Yeah.
Like, stress is, like, literally you can shift your energy or your stress levels from 1 minute to the other. It's
Hmm.
not that hard, and people don't realize how like a simple message can affect your nervous system going up and down. Yeah, it's totally off topic, but I mean, not totally, but
Yeah, I think we can go into it. I think that's like a fun topic to talk about because it's so true. And like that can affect your confidence. It's all like tied together. If
mhm.
you see something that kind of like what you said, it can make you feel like a way, then that could make you feel like a lack of confidence. Like you could be having the best day and then you see something on social media and it could just bring you down. But then like you
Exactly.
need to learn how to regulate your own emotions, like be the master of your own emotions.
Hmm.
Because that's the biggest like kind of strength that you can have when you go out into the world. It's all like emotions. People are in so much trouble in this world because they can't control their emotions. And
Ah,
people make such bad
oof.
decisions. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we don't realize how much we
Someone
need that. Yeah, go ahead.
Someone said, "How can I stay consistent with my daily routine as studying feels more exhausting and my brain says let's scroll reels and I can't help it?" Do you want to try to answer?
Um,
Can you see the chat?
yeah, 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 I
Okay,
can.
okay, nice.
So I think I'd say that once you start going into Instagram, you can't. It's an addiction. I was gonna bring that up, however, I didn't want to go into it because it wasn't on topic. But whatever. Um, if we are on social media, it's very hard to actually kick. Like 30 minutes can go by so fast.
Yeah,
So to answer the question to Ayush, he, like you can stay consistent by putting your routine very up in the like early up in the morning, or do the hardest thing what you have to do in
yeah,
the at the earliest time, because that's when you're most feeling with the most energy.
yeah,
That's what I
exactly.
would say. What would you say?
I 100% agree. Like you're gonna feel that energy right in the morning because you're having that cortisol spike, and then you're not like the first thing that stimulates your dopamine is what's gonna stimulate it for the rest of the day. So if you are scrolling first thing in the morning, that's gonna ruin the rest of your day.
Hmm.
It's gonna make it so much harder to get out of that throughout the day. So if you start your day without your phone, which is it's hard, I know, but
Rare.
you just gotta do it because if you have to, you need to prioritize yourself and
Yeah.
then just get the hardest things out of the way first. And now you have like sometimes you'll do that and you're literally like, oh my gosh, like what do I do with the rest of my day? You have so much extra time. You didn't think you were gonna get everything done so early, but when you do it so early and you wake up a little bit earlier, now you have like
The
so much
entire
more
day.
time. It feels
Yeah.
like you have like 2 days in one.
Yeah. I had this client once where she would tell me she first started came to me because she wanted to influence her boyfriend's actions. But at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, I told her that we needed to work on her confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So we did this entire system for a month, and you have no idea how the simple thing of not having the phone in the morning and just listening to like a meditation and like do
Yeah.
some affirmations after with a mirror in front of her, how that shifted in her. Like her confidence went up.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
However, for the viewers, it would really make a change if you actually put yourself first. If you put a little love for yours, if you give yourself that love first thing in the morning, you'll see yourself. You'll catch yourself doing more actions that actually benefit you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to share that.
It literally all starts in it starts at any time of the day, really, but the best thing is like it's a brand new day, fresh start. You want to start the day off good because that's going to cascade into like an upward spiral instead
Hmm.
of a downward spiral. If you already
Yeah.
if you told yourself you're going to wake up, you're going to do this studying, like you wanted to stay consistent with your studying. So if you told yourself you're going to do that and then you didn't do it, now you have a little bit less confidence. And
Yes.
then let's say you're studying and you're feeling distracted because you already started your day with scrolling. Now you're like, okay, well, I'm kind of feeling like I don't want to study anymore. I want to go to scrolling. Now you're gonna like go back to scrolling, and now your confidence is gonna go down a little bit more.
Hmm.
And now like it's halfway through the day, you haven't done what you said you wanted to do. Your body's like running on this dopamine from scrolling. It's just a downward spiral, and then it's
Hmm.
just gonna get worse because you're already feeling bad. So you have to work extra hard to bring yourself back up, or you can just it's very easy for you to just keep going down.
Hmm.
So you want to be kind of strict and have those boundaries with yourself.
Yeah.
And this is where the confidence comes because you're going to feel so much more confident if you actually tell yourself what you're going to do the next day and you actually do it. If you follow through. It's all about following through, in my opinion.
100%. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Did you want to talk about external validation?
Yeah, sure, we can talk about that. Do you want to start us off?
Yeah. So external validation, it's almost relying on others' reactions, praise, or acceptance, to feel worthy, to feel that we we're being good, or we're
Mhm.
doing a good job, or we are a good partner. So
Mhm.
I think most of us are running, if you're not conscious, you're running this external validation unconsciously. So you're looking for that comment with your partner, you're looking for that praise, you're looking for that result in your work, in your job. And we don't realize how external validation is I mean, it has to do with everything we've been talking about. Um, but external validation ha, ha, has us think about that we are seeking things outside of us that we don't have.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like even with the routine, and I think he commented again, or he or she. So I have to schedule your most important things in the morning and take up phone only after completing them, and for a limited time to check messages, calls, and not social media, and then return to work. I would say yes. Like do the most important things in the morning. That, like Greta says, that's the most efficient way to get everything done and to feel confident afterwards and like not go into a downward spiral. And that's how you stay consistent is like you did something good today and then you're like, wow, I actually did that and like that worked for me. And now you're able to do it tomorrow because you're confident that you can do it.
Yeah.
That's what I
100%.
think.
Yeah, same.
And then like this, even this right here like shows the difference between like internal validation and external validation. Like
Hmm.
external validation, there's no external validation with this. There's no one like on the outside saying like, "Oh my gosh, you did a good job." Other than you, like you can see what you did. Like if you got your studying done in the morning, that's
Hmm.
internally. Like you are validating yourself. That's where the confidence comes. The external validation is like let's say you messed up this routine completely and like you waited till last minute to finish an assignment for school and for studying and like let's say you still did good,
Hmm.
like the external validation may be there and they might like your teacher or your parents or like friends may say like, oh my gosh, you did so well, like good job. That's the external validation. But then you on the inside, you're like kind of like beating yourself up because you didn't even follow your routine. Like you did not do as good as you thought you were going to do or how good you could possibly have done because you didn't follow the routine. So external validation, you could still have that on the outside and everyone could say like good job, but you can feel like horrible on the inside.
Hmm.
So confidence does not come from external validation in the slightest.
No, it doesn't. Or it may give you some sign of satisfaction for like a minute, and then it'll go down. It'll be like, what else? I need to fill
Yeah.
this void.
Yeah,
And
that's it. And if it doesn't like say you're now just relying on external validations, like you just said, like there's gonna be a void if it doesn't come.
hmm.
If it's not you fulfilling it, now you're waiting for somebody else to fill the void. And then it's just like an endless loop. And we have like or he or she's asking any book suggestions to read. Do you have any book suggestions, Greta? What are some like books that you've read?
Mm, I have a lot. But it's, I don't know. One of my favorite books is, um, I'm blacking out on her name. Dr. Shefali. It's called The Radical Awakening. I don't know if you've read it, but it's so good.
That's
It's
one I have not read. I've read a lot of books, but I have not read that one. What is it about?
yeah, it's about awakening, but I remember the first time reading it. It was when I had just became like super conscious.
Yeah.
Not super, but it was just like the beginning from like not being conscious to being conscious. So I think that first time where when you're like kind of noticing your patterns, when like 5 years ago. So when you let that first moment is very fulfilling because you've been almost asleep your entire life, and then you're noticing all your patterns, you're noticing like all of these wounds that you've had for such a long time. I remember reading it and saying like, oh my god, I've been thinking wrong my entire life. I've been like assuming a man should be this, this, and this. Oh, such a good book.
Mhm.
I
It's
mean,
like an aha moment, like an awakening
yeah,
for you. Yeah,
a
exactly. I
hundred
love that.
percent. So, I mean, I can't really remember a lot, but I just remember having this feeling of like,
Yeah. You remember how you feel.
yeah.
That's just what's important. Some books I could recommend for you is Deep Work by Cal Newport. That's like really good for just like getting in the zone of like really getting some stuff done. Um, I'm trying to think of something else, but you could do the Art of Not Giving an F.
Oh, I love that book.
That was a good book. It's like a fun
Yeah.
read too. It's really easy.
The Power of Now too.
Yeah,
Like,
The Power of Now, A New Earth. Those are more about like presence and stuff like that, which is good. Like if you feel like you have like you're struggling with being present and like with this like you feel like like you said you feel exhausted and sometimes so you could try that as well.
yeah.
That book. There's
Hmm.
so many books out there. But those are some good ones.
Yeah. Are there any questions?
I remember there was something else I wanted to talk about.
Someone said the guy with the black shirt says being present is very difficult for a lot of people. That's true.
It's because everyone is like not in the present moment. They're either in the past or they're in the future. People are like ruminating, and that's where like the depression comes. They're sitting and thinking about the past, and then anxiety is you're always thinking about the future.
Oh my god, you literally took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's very hard for us humans to be in the present moment because we're always thinking about what we're gonna do. What are we if we're not thinking about what's next, we're thinking about, oh, what a bad childhood, what a bad experience I've had. And we're acting based on our past, which
Mhm.
is hard. However, once you become aware, you can shift. You know, it's
Mhm.
a moment to moment awareness and shift. It's a
Mhm.
decision.
Yeah. I think like with like thinking about your past, there's like I think there's like a stigma, I guess, or like like a cognitive connotation around it where you have to just forget it all and then just move on. But it's like it comes in waves. Like you're gonna have period like you're never gonna forget about the trauma you've went through. It's just like it's gonna come in waves and then like you have to learn how to just ride the wave until it's kind of done and then you move on, you're doing something else. And then if it comes back, like you're able to handle it with a more regulated nervous system.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
And not ruminating it. It's like it's just like when you ruminate in it and then it just keeps spiraling down. That's like the toxic part of it.
Hmm.
And that's what I think. Um, I think I just like I had some notes about like how confidence is self-trust and which is what I was saying with like the action or even with the inaction like when you were saying like kind of just like taking like the step back and like a rest.
Hmm.
The the self-trust that comes with knowing that you can do something that you said you're going to do. And just like the self-trust in general, like trusting yourself, even knowing that like there's going to be no external validation. People may like criticize you, ridicule you, or like it's just the
Yeah.
self-trust at the end of the day that is going to come through for you.
I think uh, I think for the people that are watching us, you have to ask yourself, are you passive or are you aggressive? Are you doing the thing? Are you putting yourself out there? Are you doing the thing that's making you fearful?
Yeah.
If you're doing that, good.
Yeah.
But if you're not, take a step back and then
Yeah.
question yourself.
That's the thing. Like what you were saying, you were doing all these things, like you were putting yourself out there. And like if you're so used to that, then that maybe not didn't feel like a super big step for you to do like
Hmm.
the like to talk in front of how many people or this many people. But
Hmm.
for some people, like the smallest step that is easy for maybe us is so hard for someone else. It's like
Yeah.
it's about personalized steps and personalized action.
Hmm.
Everything is like, how does it feel to you?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And Yeah, people don't notice how easy but almost hard. I don't want to say hard, but just do that thing that's making you afraid.
Mhm.
That do that video. I don't know. Post a photo. Um, ask for a raise.
Mhm.
In all of these areas. But sometimes we're left feeling stuck. But that's really just you giving yourself a story. If
Yeah.
you can just stop thinking and start doing.
Yeah. And, like, I love what you said where you said, "Does it feel, like, scary to you?" Like, does it feel like do you feel, like, kind of, like, fearful to do it? Like, that's what you're
Mhm.
supposed to be doing. That's what you're meant to be doing. If it feels something that's, like, out of your comfort zone, as soon as you're stepping out of your comfort zone, you're increasing your container.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's how you, like, push the boundaries of what you're able to do.
Yeah.
And he's with the comment says, "Thank you so much, both of you. I wish I would be sorry, I can't read. I would be using your advice and will probably comment back the results in your live stream of in about in a week. Would
That's so
be
sweet.
and I don't know why I can't see. And would be back with a question or two." And he said, "It's night in India, so good night." Okay, good night. Conquering
Night.
your fears. Yes, conquering your fears.
Yeah, it's bring yourself. It's getting out of your comfort zone, and yeah, I think it's very easy for people that are young. As you grow older, I don't want to generalize, but that seems to be the case that with people that are surrounding me, that you get too comfortable and you don't want to get out of your comfort zone
Oh
as you
yeah.
grow older, because you are afraid to for change.
Yeah, I that's and sometimes people that don't want to leave their comfort zone trigger me. So I realize like within myself, like this is a trigger point for me, is when I see people that don't want to branch out, they don't want to open their mind to things. They don't want to like when they're so closed off and they're like so stubborn, like I'll feel kind of a little bit triggered because I'm like always pushing myself to do more.
Hmm.
So I have to work on the those people being a trigger for me. Do you find that? Like, do you find like when you see people that don't want to try or don't push themselves out of their comfort zone, do you find that like a little bit of a trigger for you or no?
I don't think trigger is at least for me. I don't feel triggered. I feel like they just don't know, or
Mhm.
they just don't want to get out of their comfort zone. I mean, I think with every person, there's divine timing if it's meant to change. If they're meant to change and it'll happen in their time, and who am I to force? However, it doesn't trigger me, but it's almost like I'm putting us in a situation where I can't question whether or not to get out of. Like, I know what you're doing. I told you what to do already. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Like, I don't take responsibility for other people if they're. I mean, I tell you what you have to do. If you don't want to do it,
Mhm.
it's on you, not me. So
Yeah.
it's not for me. Not for me. It's not for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I don't know, cuz sometimes I'll see my family members like and I'll want better for them and I feel like I've definitely like reduced this, but I remember like in my younger days, I would be so like pushy where I'm just like, do this, like this is so good for you. Like do this, this will help you so much. Cause you'll see people struggling and like, okay, well, this has helped me. So I want to help them by forcing this on them, but you can't force people to change and you can't
Mhm.
force people to believe what you believe or to
I
like
could.
assimilate to your
I
way.
hear you. Yes, I hear you because you want good for them. However, it was almost me when I first started to do this work. I wanted to help everybody. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, you have to do this because
Yeah.
you're gonna open your mind. And
Yeah.
this doesn't work. Oh my God, I've been there.
Yeah.
This does not work if you're not open to actually do like changing the way that you're thinking. You have to be brave and you have to want it for
Yeah.
yourself. Like, nobody can make you. I don't know. It's left me, from my personal experience, exhausted, and I made up a boundary for myself to not be
Yeah.
put in that situation again because it's
Yeah.
exhausting. And even though I want the best for them, I cannot be their savior. Like, who am I? I'm almost
Mhm.
saying like, oh, I have the answers for you.
Yeah.
No, a person has free will. So yeah,
I completely like 100% agree. And I feel like that's one thing we have in common is like we want to help so many people and like
yeah.
but that's the boundary is like if people don't want to help themselves, you cannot overexert yourself. Like it's going to be a slow process. Like even sometimes when you have a client and like you want to help them, you want to kind of push them in this direction, but they're going in this direction. You can't force them to go in this direction. You have to just kind of be patient with them and kind of
Oh
just
my
like
god.
open them up to the other direction. But yeah, like uh he's the guy with the black t-shirt said, "I agree that like people that don't believe in aliens." I
What?
hear I hear you. When you have a belief and you want everyone to hop on the bandwagon, I can hear you.
Yeah.
And then M said, "That's me right now. Thank you for discussing this, ladies." And then
Thank you
I think
for
she
watching.
said, what are both your channels?"
I think we put them on the description box.
Yeah, Greta's YouTube is in the description. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's gonna
Thank you.
be. It should be like right in the description. I put the week one video, and then I also put her channel, but it's just Greta Sands.
Yeah.
And then my channel is my channel. So a
Yeah.
bunch of
This
people
one, the
know
one
the
that
one
you're
that you
watching.
see. Yeah, the one where you're watching on.
Yeah. Wow. I You have no idea how um good it is to hear you say that you want to help so many people, but you cannot be put in that situation where you're giving this unwanted advice, like unwanted advice, because at the end of the day, nobody has asked you for your advice, you know? So that's why I made that boundary of if they want to change, if they want to see this transformation, there has to be some kind of exchange.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
where you made your offer, and I made my own offer. Like,
Yeah,
on
like,
the
unless you're
14th,
paying us for
14th.
the advice or, like, you're specifically asking, I feel like now we've put up that boundary of, like, "Okay, we're not gonna go." Like, if I see, like, a family member or a friend, like, I'm not gonna go out of my way and, like, tell them I think that something they're doing needs to be changed or something,
Yeah.
which it takes, like, the strength of not doing because you don't wanna see people that you love, like, around you, like, in bad habits or bad patterns. But I can definitely see, like, I see right away when someone's nervous system is not regulated.
Oh my
I'll like
god. Yes.
catch it right away, and it's like, what?
It's so bad.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know. I've become so not disconnected, but like not attached. Like,
Hmm.
if something is not vibrating at my same frequency, like if someone is, yeah, I mean, there's no other way I could explain it. Someone's not vibrating at my same frequency, I tend to either go with it, either work with them, or not be put in that situation of, oh, me wanting to be their savior.
How do you? I have a question for you. How do you handle like when you're with a client and they kind of like don't want to hear what you have to say?
That's never happened.
That never really happens. Like, do you ever
No.
feel like when you'll say something and like the client doesn't receive it how you were like hoping they receive it? Does
I
that ever
think
happen?
that's never happened to me with a client, but that has happened to me with a friend.
Yeah.
So I can share what happened
Yeah,
then.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, tell me.
So I was telling her that she shouldn't, I don't know, be accepting this type of behavior from a man. And
Yeah,
then I saw her getting like all armored up. Like, I can sense a lot of
yeah,
energy. And I told her, I was like, I can see that you don't like what you're saying, that you don't like what I'm saying. And then she was like, she kind of toned it down, and then she said, I'm sorry. And then she kind of went and talked to her therapist and
mhm,
came back and talked to me about the entire situation.
yeah. Oh, so
So,
did she end up kind of understanding or
oh, for sure.
yeah,
like that whatever that I was saying, it came from a place of love, not from a place of maybe she was triggered. For sure, she was triggered.
Mhm.
Hmm. But it's never been a situation with a client.
Mhm.
Hmm. How
It's
about
not
you?
like I me personally, I haven't had like specific situations where like the client's like absolutely in like the no, but it's sometimes like I feel like someone doesn't receive the information the way like I was thinking they were going to receive it, or like take with it what I thought they were going to take from it.
Hmm.
And that's like what I'm saying. But I definitely see this the most like without like forget the clients like in our personal lives. You can definitely see it a lot. Um, and then so we have a comment. I'm the same way. I'm a trauma specialist, so I see dysregulation and narcissism all the time. I just remind myself it's not my business.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really hard if you have a narcissist around you, it's super difficult. I know most people just say like if you have those types of like people around you, just like get as far as possible. Um, but it's all about like regulating yourself and your own emotions that those things don't bring you down and spiral. Like you want to have kind of like
Yeah.
your own kind of cage where like the things don't penetrate it.
It
Like
kind of goes along with what we were saying in the beginning, that a narcissist wouldn't even touch you if you had those boundaries for yourself, you know? If
yeah,
you
that's
have those
true.
boundaries, like I've never
Oops.
encountered a narcissist. Can you believe that? But I
Really?
think, yeah, no.
That's so
And
good. I love that.
and I think it's because my boundaries are very high. You know, the
Mhm.
other day someone asked me, what would you do if you were with a person or a man that didn't have papers? And I was just like, I wouldn't be with that man. Like if somebody, I have this belief, or this, I guess my worthiness is very high because I don't want to settle for anything less that I deserve. It
Mhm.
may sound cocky, but it's has to do with your self-worth.
Mhm. Like if you have boundaries and like standards, people can see it from a mile away. They don't have to spend a whole day with you to see it. Like
Yes.
I'm sure when anyone like a narcissist even comes like close to your vicinity, they can just see and then just know like okay, she's not the one.
Mm-mm. Have
You're
you
not the one.
encountered?
Pardon?
Have you encountered a
Yeah, I've
narcissist?
had an encounter with a narcissist in the past. But that was, like, a brief encounter, and I would say wasn't too like, not too much. I would just be say one specific person,
Hmm.
and then, it was, like, a past friend,
Hmm.
and I ended up getting out of that friendship, but I think it's interesting to know that when you can encounter certain people, it ends up reflecting on your character and
Yeah.
how, like, your lack of boundaries, your lack of standards, your lack of your own, like, just being yourself. Like I feel like in that period of my life, I was just like not having my own. I wasn't forming my own opinions. I was just kind of like being a follower, like a people pleaser.
Yeah. Could be
Yeah.
like
So.
how they know who to target, honestly.
Hmm.
Like the narcissist, and it's just I don't, yeah, I think it's funny to call it that, but is they're just predators.
Yeah.
They're looking for prey to take advantage of. So
Have you seen that book series like Surrounded by Psychopaths?
which one? No, I
There's
haven't.
like there's
I,
like Surrounded by Idiots, Surrounded by Psychopaths. It's like a book with like a it's like a bunch of little people on the front.
no, I have to read it. It's a
Mhm.
book.
Yeah, and it's like a kind of I think it's an author and he made like a bunch, like a few books and they're kind of all kind of like similar and it's kind of like
Yeah.
just like how to deal with people type of book. So it's like a
Uh-huh.
communication book and just like kind of self-help and a little bit of business because you're surrounded by most people like at work if you have like a big office and stuff and like I was kind of skimming through that book and I saw like the main point kind of near the end was just like there's nothing you can really do to deal with these people just like know how to identify them. That's the most important. And
Hmm.
then get as far away and like separate yourself and distance as much as possible. Cause like there's no point like kind of in this rat race of how to deal with these types of people.
Hmm.
Like it's just you're gonna exhaust yourself and you're gonna be drained.
Yeah.
you
And
know?
then I mean, I read this book also from a psychologist, and it's called, I think, Love in Your, as Your Second Chance. And he talks about how a conscious person can inspire an unconscious person to become conscious, but he'll easily get, it talks about how you can attract your, like, your conscious partner, but you can also inspire the other person that you're with to become that conscious.
Mhm.
However, if you're unconscious and you're dating also an unconscious person, you can become neurotic.
Oh
So I think
gosh.
that's how, like, unconscious people become narcissists.
Mhm.
So it goes like a level, because you believe that you can be saved. You believe there's no safety in love. So I think love relationships are very interesting, interesting topic that we can talk about
Mhm.
in future
Yeah.
life.
Unconscious, yeah, and that's definitely really interesting. Because that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. Like, obviously, like, the more you're surrounded by toxic, like, it's so easy to just keep going downward
Mhm.
and, like, and just get worse
100%.
and worse. So it's like this is where the effort comes in to go up. So that's
Yeah.
like that's a really interesting point.
Yeah.
And it's
It's
scary because, like, that's why you have to choose the right person, be with the right person. Like, it's all about the right people. Like, even in your workplace, your friendships, like your relationships, like it's all about like that person because they're gonna influence you so much.
Mhm.
It's so like scary how much influence they have over you
Yeah.
and your character and just like who you become, like how you're gonna end up in 5 years or 10 years.
100%. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And I
So,
think the guy in the black t-shirt said good for you for your boundaries.
mhm.
Yeah, we love that for Greta. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's true about consciousness.
Yeah, it is true.
Hmm. How are you feeling? Do you have any like further points that you want to kind of mention before we leave about like anything, or do you feel like we covered everything for this
I
week?
think we covered everything in regards, boundaries and self-worth,
Hmm.
but there's just so much we can talk about, honestly.
Yeah. Next week we are going to be live on Greta's channel,
Yeah.
and it's linked in the description. And we're going to be live. I don't know what a specific day we have right now, but either Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wednesday on next week. So stay tuned for that, guys. Subscribe to Greta's
Yes.
channel, and we'll see you guys next week.
We'll
Thank
see
you.
you
Thank you
then.
for
Thank
coming to my
you.
channel.
Thank you so much for watching.
Okay.
Okay, bye.